Hey everyone, welcome to my top 5 for spiritual development books. I'm really excited to share with you guys all of the books that I love to read, and if you know me, you know that I'm an avid reader. So let's jump into it. So, I kind of wanted to lay out different types of books for you guys, and I couldn't make my decision because there's so many books out there that are very vast and really good with information. So, I'm going to explain to you guys how do I choose my books? What's my process of figuring out if this is going to be a book that I recommend and learn from? Then I'm going to be giving you guys 3 focused books or series that I really do genuinely love. There's the In Focus series, astrology, tarot, and herbology. Those are 4 actually. And then I'm going to go in developing a little bit more information about the self-development books such as mindfulness, quantum physics, and things like that. And then, of course, please make sure that you guys are going to keep in touch so that way you guys can learn a little bit more if you wish to. So, what books do I normally pick? Whenever I go to pick a book, I always choose books that are going to be very good for my spiritual development, also as well as my background for science and history. When I choose a new book for my spiritual development versus my self development, I look for topics that stick either to history or science. And within the spiritual world, there is so much fiction added into the books that most people begin to develop a practice based off of woo woo type topics. So they end up starting to believe in things that you have to let your loved ones go so they can rest in peace, or they believe that sage and Palo Santos is made for everybody and all of the different types of spirits. Now, in the In Focus series, you guys can find these anywhere: Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, secondhand bookstores. They are phenomenal. They have anything from astrology to numerology, Reiki, also divination, just so much. My favorite ones, though, are the Aura and the Chakra book, and then also the Shaman book, if you're into shamanism. It really does teach you a lot about the history of shamanism. Now, my next favorite book is the astrology book by Jenny Kosarniri. I don't know how to say her last name, Kosirin, sorry. And this book I found at Barnes and Noble. There's so many astrology books out there that make it so hard to be able to just focus on the topic and learn because it's so much information. Astrology I always compare to like that algebra or math in college that we don't want to take but we have to. This is kind of what astrology is for spirituality, and for me at least, because genuinely it has so many concepts to it: the moon, the sun, the rising, the planets, all of the symbolization. And this book really genuinely is so beginner friendly and breaks it down for you to where you don't feel like you're going to be overwhelmed with all the topics. Next, my favorite one is this is by Sky Alexander. This is on tarot. There is so many good books out there on tarot. However, they make them very overwhelming with all of the different opinions about what the cards mean. And then there's some people that believe that you have to have a tarot deck gifted to you. You can't touch it until you do so. That's completely not true. You can go out, purchase your own tarot deck, whatever resonates to you. The main thing that you need to focus on whenever selecting tarot is if the image theory is something that you really like. You have to be bonding with that image theory, and you have to get like this whole intuitive story behind it that you feel that you can actually pull from the image. This book here is phenomenal. It's very beginner friendly, breaks down each card, gives you images, and also does help you understand the reverse side and the upside of the tarot. Then another book that I absolutely love is the herbology book. There's so many topics in spirituality that are very much of a key point or a staple to understand, and this herbology book is one of them. So out there in the world of spirituality, you've got so many books about crystals and herbs and everything, and then they just have all of this information that is mass, and spirituality can be overwhelming, as you've seen with all of the books. However, with this encyclopedia, it breaks it down with an image. It also gives you a lot of practical things. I know it says magical herbs, but the thing is Scott Cunningham is somebody that practices witchcraft as well, which I don't. But he also does include a lot of things that are for healing properties and tinctures and teas and oils and aromas. And he teaches you about how certain aromas are bad for your oxygen and also also bad for your pets or also the environment. But he also teaches about like different types of herbs that could be added into your own tinctures and candles. And I think that's really fun and cool because it just breaks it down exactly like an encyclopedia. You can just learn as you go. Now, last but certainly not least, and this is by far nowhere close to all of the books that I wish that I could talk on, because we would be here for the rest of the year if I stayed here talking about the books. I didn't include a crystal book in here because the fact that I do have a specific series I want to do on crystal books, and I want to break them down for you guys because there's different properties to crystals. You can either go with a very woo-woo type topic, or you can also go with a very science-based topic, and I'm going to break that down somewhere else. However, the self-development books that I've chosen to be able to share with you guys are The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. This goes into talking about very confirmational mindfulness that really does help you see in a different light and kind of grow and develop and being not just positive, but having a different perception. Then The Science of Mind series by Ernest Holmes. Now, this is a massive book, but this one here is all of his Science of Mind series collaborated into one, and this is a limited edition, so I don't know if you guys can find it at Barnes and Noble, but if you do, you've hit gold. He is phenomenal about breaking down myths and philosophies and faith and ways of life, as well as like psychology, and also breaking down how our minds are what we think is what we have in our life. So whatever we believe is what we achieve, and whatever we have in our mindscape, in the body actually achieves it as well. Now, the last one that I'm mentioning is Spiritual Laws by Diana Cooper. The text is really hard to get into. It does really have where, you read it for a while, set it down, and then you don't want to pick it back up for a while because you get a little bit bored. But it has a lot of good staples about the 12 laws of spirituality, like laws of polarity, that kind of thing. And it gives a lot of insight on those. There is some things in here that I disagree with as a spiritualist. I think it's very woo-woo, but at the same time, my main reason why I included this is because I want to include books that you guys can go in and kind of assess and see if you are going to believe it or not, because the main key concept about spirituality is believing whatever you believe to be your truth. All right, so that kind of wraps up all of the spiritual books that I feel I want to mention at this time. And if you guys really did like my content and you guys are loving my videos, please make sure to hit that follow button and make sure to subscribe. You guys can find me at www.theoryofhealingsp.com for any of my services, as I am a professional evidential medium and mentor. And then you guys can also find me doing my live readings on TikTok, Theory of Healing, and then Instagram with a lot of my information, as well as my blogs. And if you guys are wanting to join our community, you're going to end up finding family. That's just without a doubt. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.